Good Wednesday morning and welcome to Fletcher United Methodist Church for the Pastor's Chat. I wanted to remind you that the most important priorities in my life are still the same as when we entered into this new phase of life. First of all, God, and then Kathy and my family, the church, and then our community and other things. And no force of nature or opinion can change that. And I hope that you are able to hold on to your priorities and that you're well and safe. I wanted to introduce my friend who's with us today. This is the Peace Beanie Baby, and it reminds us that God's peace continues to be with us. We are continuing to refine and freshen our video contacts each week, and I want to thank you for your input and your suggestions. I rejoice in the many ways that I'm hearing about how you're supporting and encouraging one another during this time. And I want to thank those that are working behind the scenes to make all of our ministry effective and real. I share also from last Sunday in Steve Shepard's financial report, especially as we're wrapping up, the results of the capital campaign. The report will be in this Sunday's coming worship folder. And I want to thank you again for your continuing faithful financial consistency. A growing prayer of mine during this time is the hope that more people continue to realize that we have common responsibilities for one another, for one another's health and safety. I took a course in postgraduate work in seminary with an ethics professor on the concept of commonwealth, a word that we don't use very much, but it's the understanding of how our self-interest can also be good for one another, our community, and how we need to focus our lives so that it affects others in positive ways. And to ask the question, are we helping that commonwealth to increase or decline? And unfortunately, we see much too much fracturing in our society. We've decided as a staff and as church leaders that we must be as healthy and consistent as possible as we move toward that yet as not known date in which we can start being back in person in worship. You will receive a pastoral email from me this week that begins to lay the groundwork, especially for our attitudes and understanding and patience as we move toward that time when we will be back together again. And you'll be reading and hearing and seeing video of guidelines and instructions that we will have so that we can avoid any infections in our gatherings moving forward. The staff and laity leadership will make it easy and clear to follow those procedures, and some of them may seem extreme or weird, but all are based on viable and fact-based research. And we ask for your patience and cooperation as we work together. And in some ways, when you get back here, our facility will look a little bit like the grocery store. We'll have arrows and signs showing how we're to move and not move. From a discussion that a leadership group had about 2 weeks ago, we would like to produce a book of reflections, poems, prayers, drawings that you may have found, you may have created in the past couple months that we can share with one another as instances of where we have found strength and help. And again, we'll get you more specific details about how to get those things to us, things that you've created and that you would be willing to share. Let me take a moment to put on my mask as an example of how we are going to be safe as we get back together. That our staff and volunteers will be, when we're in community, as we're gathering for worship, will be wearing our protective materials until we get in place and have enough distance from one another. And to remind us that this is more for me that is more for you than for me. And it is a gift of safety to our neighbors. And later today, our Blue Ridge District clergy and our superintendent will be meeting virtually to strategize and share ideas about moving forward. So in next week, Pastor's Chat, I will give you more specifics about our emerging plans. The staff and I want to see you and hear your voices, but even more, we want everyone to be safe and whole. So today, I say, may you be blessed and stay safe and well. Have a great week.